Okay, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Andrew is back from his tour overseas. Check out that crazy mustache. Corporal General Stoffel over here.
God, yes, sir.
That's a clean mustache. He's got the clean fade and everything. This guy's ready. This guy's ready for anything.
He's ready to lead everyone into battle, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to Downtime, presented by Conequip Parts, where if you have downtime, you might as well spend it with us. This is a podcast kind of about construction, mostly tangents.
Kind of.
What is on the docket today?
Squilliam Fishbottom, Eastern State Penitentiary. Roll the intro. Hi, Luke.
What up, Andrew?
Okay, yeah. Let me tell them. Downtime, it's about time. Big bad problem, trying to stream it down line. Downtime, turning all the cash to dirt. Downtime, getting us back to work.
Whoa.
Seth, you dirty dog.
Oh, thanks, guys.
You done did it again. If you guys didn't catch on by now, if this is your 24th episode in and you didn't know that Seth did our intro, I don't know how that got past you, but Seth
Maybe
did
watch
our
the
intro
next one
Here's
and
proof.
you'll figure it out.
And with a camera here. Let me tell them.
There we go.
Everybody
Nice.
knows now.
Yeah. So Spotify, Seth Fonda, anywhere you can stream music, go check him out. He's going to blow up.
Thank you.
All right, folks. So today we're talking about the Eastern State Penitentiary. What I originally wanted to do is, back in the day, the mafia and the mob kind of controlled the unions in New York. So they had what was called the Construction Club or the Concrete Club, something along those
Oh,
lines.
that's kind of fire.
Where they controlled all the concrete and everything.
Sounds like a
and
really lame, grocery store loyalty.
Construction Club.
The concrete club.
Yeah.
The
But
Home Depot membership.
Yeah.
But all the powerful mafia families, they controlled all that, and then they were embezzling money and all that stuff. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, we can definitely cover that. Just let us know.
So what are we talking about today?
716-929-5066. Today we're talking about, I was getting into that. I said I was
you
going
were
to
like, I wanted to do this, but actually...
First fight.
I didn't get to the second half of my sentence yet,
Are we
Andrew.
fighting for the first
That's a really
time?
long sentence.
We're going to be talking about the Eastern State Penitentiary. The reason that came into mind is because I was thinking about mobsters. Al Capone stayed there, and I was able to go to the Eastern State Penitentiary and actually visit it and walk around it and everything. But that's
was
where
an
it came
inmate.
from. I was going to talk about the mafia, and
shut
so I
up,
remembered Al
Andrew.
Capone. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
I love being on the other side of this. Like, I'm usually the one getting roasted.
Do you think this is how most newscasters do it? They just sit up there and they're talking, and then as soon as they cut to somebody else, they're
They just freak out at everybody.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like an anchor man when
Yeah.
the music starts and they're just like saying the worst things possible to each other,
Yeah.
but smiling.
And I'm gonna slap you in public.
You have man boobs.
So the Eastern State Penitentiary, guys, we're going to get into why they built this, the construction of it, why people think it's haunted, all this and that, and yeah. So let's get
Can I
into
take
it.
a guess at why they built it?
Yes.
They had bad people they needed to put somewhere.
They did have bad people, but this was like a different kind of prison for the time. So
It's a prison with style.
Yeah, definitely not.
Pizzazz.
Are they
Just
trying to
like, no.
experiment things?
It was an experiment. So this was going on in the 1800s. So this was like a big experimental
So
prison.
it's like
type
an
thing.
insane asylum kind of too.
It made people insane.
Oh,
It turned
dear.
into an insane asylum, that's
Jeez.
for sure. So it's kind of known as a historical landmark now, and it offers daily tours. I could go on one. It was my senior year of high school, and I went on a band trip, and we were able to walk around this. It was kind of cool. Yeah.
Where'd at?
It's in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yeah, probably should
You
have
went
said
on a
that.
band trip to a prison?
Yeah, it was sick, dude. We go on band trips, and then
That's what we did,
And then
yeah.
we'd play for like a nursing home real quick, but then we toured the city for the rest of the time we
Hell,
were on
sounds
the
great.
trip. Yeah. So let's get into it. This place held famous people like Al Capone and Slick Willie Sutton, which is such a cool name, dude.
I've heard of one of those two people.
Thieves and robbers back in the day had the coolest nicknames, and it was so easy to get away with like bank robbery and stuff because
you
they had
just
no
skip town.
forensics, they had no cameras.
You could get away with so much.
Is that what got you into like a max state prison? Is if you just
Bank
robbed
robbery?
a bank?
robbed and killed and yeah, a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, this guy, he was an escape artist too. He tried escaping like a ton of times.
Slick
Actually
Willie?
escaped one time and was away for like 10 years or something. Like,
cool.
But he tried escaping Eastern State Penitentiary at least 5 times, I want to say.
So did they name the bar in Tonawanda after this
Slick
guy?
Willie's, I would assume so.
That's cool.
Slick Willie Sutton. Actually, funny enough, I was watching a John Mulaney bit yesterday, and he's like, it was so easy to get away with robbery back then.
You just skipped town.
He's like, he's like, if you'd had a 99% chance of getting away with it as long as you weren't there when the cops came, basically. He's like, enough to the point where people were taking credit for the robbery. They're like...
It's like they come running out of there and they're like, ha ha ha! And if anyone asks you, tell them it was Golden Joe and the Suggins gang. And then they like shoot Suggins into the side of the wall.
In the early 1800s, so this is what prison used to be. In the early 1800s, crime in America was dealt with mostly, it was dealt with through corporal punishment. So like whippings, public shaming, and executions. So people eventually started to realize, hey, maybe this isn't the best way to reform. I mean, if you're an adult and you're getting beaten up every day, that's probably just going to make you angrier.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't a kid that we're trying to punish and teach them you shouldn't do that.
Who came up with that
These
theory?
are full-grown adults, dude. You're beating the crap out of them. I think they're just going to get mad and not like you and then do something irredeemable and spend their life in prison, you know? So
Like rob a bank.
So basically there was like some sort of like prison cruelty committee that like, or misery committee or something. I think Ben Franklin was on it where they're like...
had the misery business?
But yeah, they were like, I think we're treating these people a little too harshly. Let's try something else. So in 1829, they decided to build the Eastern State Penitentiary, which was viewed basically as an experiment. So instead of physical punishment, criminals would face penitence through solitude. So it was it was a place.
Something worse.
It was entirely solitary confinement, which it's crazy to think that that's like a punishment today, you know, like they were like, this could help. And
left alone.
Everything that we know,
They locked him in a room and said, think about what you did.
Yeah, exactly.
They put him in timeout.
Basically, for years on end. And it's just crazy knowing what we know today, that this was like their idea back then, basically. So the architect was John Haviland. He reportedly wanted the building to inspire the fear of God. Workers and visitors described the design as a Gothic church turned into a fortress. His goal, instill fear and spiritual reflection. And here is a picture of Mr. John Haviland. I'll throw it up on screen. If you're listening to this, use your imagination. But
like
he just looks like he's just thinking about this, dude.
That boy looks like Steve Jobs.
When you edit this, can you make sure you zoom in on his hand? Because that's a very righteous way to draw up a penitentiary.
Yes, 100%.
Is he drawing the penitentiary right there?
Probably not.
Probably. These are the blueprints right there. It's a painting. How do you think he talked, dude? Do you think it was more so, Quincy, are the prisoners being naughty? Or do you think it was...
Put them in timeout.
Are the prisoners being naughty? What do we do with that?
He was in New York?
The prisoners are being naughty.
Philly. What's a Philly accent?
A Philly accent? Go Birds. Go Birds.
Fly,
Downtown.
Eagles, fly.
You're going downtown to Eastern State Penitentiary.
Go Birds.
Quincy, the prisoners are being rude. Let's lock them up and
put them in timeout.
In pure darkness.
Could you imagine they're like, what are you drawing there? Oh, I'm just drawing blueprints. All right, let me take a picture. Just starts drawing for 3 hours.
Yeah. Do you think his buddy probably came in and he's like, oh, what you drawing? He goes, oh, a prison, and it's just boxes. Yeah. It's just squares with a hallway in between. And he's like, oh, is there like a communal area? No,
it's
not at all.
Bartholomew, it is the most latest design in prison technology.
It's just rooms.
Just
no
rooms.
windows.
We'll barely feed them and we'll put black cloths over their face.
It'll be great. They'll love it. They'll come out of prison being a new man. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, dude. So this
Quincy, you dog.
So you dog. Just walking around the prison. What you have this? They're walking around with like stakes and stuff, just tormenting everybody.
A clipboard. Quincy, what should we do with this man? This is Slick Willie of the Slick Willie and the Sutton gang. Turn him around, put him in a chair and face him towards the corner.
If you're a good boy, we won't waterboard you tonight.
Oh my goodness.
Slick, how do you feel about this prison room that you're in? That's so funny you can't talk. I agree. He's got a bag over his head.
A laugh.
I hate this.
But yeah, that's John Haviland for you. That's exactly how he spoke. So getting into the construction for it, the construction was grueling. There were massive 30-foot walls, vaulted ceilings, and heavy stonework. It was one of the most expensive building projects of its time, costing over $770,000, which would be tens of millions of dollars today. So in the 1800s, that was an absolute fortune. The prison's revolutionary radial design had a central hub with cell blocks fanning outward like spokes of a wheel. So basically, it was designed in a circle. Okay. You had a central hub where all the guards and everything would stay. And from that central hub, you'd have long hallways. There were 7 hallways, so they could stand in the cells were very cramped. So to get out of the cells, you had to like duck and get out of it. But it gave the guards like 100% access to watching everything go around in the prison, basically. If anybody was trying to escape, they would see it like immediately. It started with 7 cell blocks. It eventually went to 15 cell blocks. This place got overcrowded really quick. It was meant for like 240 prisoners. At its height, it had like 1,700. So they had, at a certain point, had to abandon solitary confinement and everything because they just had way too many people in this prison.
It's not solitary
you know
if there's 3
scary
people in a room.
it would be?
So each of these cells had a small skylight, a very small skylight, and that was known as the Eye of God. So it was mostly dark, but you'd have a little bit of sunlight coming in, so you could at least enjoy some rays. There was running water and central heating, which were considered luxuries at the time. Like the White House at the time didn't even have plumbing. So like putting in running water was huge. However, the central heating thing, I think, is a lie unless it just kind of broke immediately, because a bunch of people were saying like the summers were like so hot, it was cruel. And then the winters, they would actually the guards were nice enough to run hot water through the pipes. So there was at least a little bit of warmth coming through. But other than that,
hugging the pipes.
Other than that, it was just frigid cold. So like all of these things, it's going to make you lose your mind, right? And then there was a private exercise yard, but you were lucky if you got to use it, basically. You'd get 30 minutes if you were good, but the other 23 and a half hours you were in your cell.
And there's only one person out there at a time?
In the yard, they might have let people no, it was all solitary confinement. Maybe it was just one-on-one. You could go out.
1,700 dudes out there.
Yeah, at a certain point. At the height of it.
In the prison. So,
yeah. I wonder if by the time it got to 1,700 people, if they kind of abandoned the solitary confinement thing. And because I'm pretty sure they like played baseball out in the yard and stuff at a certain point. I was able to go out in their exercise yard. And
that's the least
there was a baseball diamond.
I lied. If there was a time to be in prison, it would be then, when you could play baseball.
Just play ball. Yeah, dude. Inmates were kept in total isolation. We already kind of covered that. They ate, slept, and worked in their cells, so they would make these guys work for most of the day in their cells. And they were not allowed to see any other prisoners. They didn't know how many other people were in there. They weren't allowed to even look at them. So they weren't allowed to talk to anyone, including the guards. You would get in trouble if you talked to the guards when they were dropping off your food or whatever. And it was like your typical, like there was a door with a little slot they'd open up and push the food through. And it wasn't a lot of food. But they also had to wear sheets over their head when they were being moved, so they didn't know their surroundings. They didn't know how many people were in the building. There was a lot going on to make sure that the solitary confinement was done correctly, basically. So there was that, and the harsh reality is the isolation was brutal, believe it or not. Many inmates suffered mental breakdowns, hallucinations, and madness, and critics called it psychological torture, and the prison soon became overcrowded and conditions worsened. But think about that, dude. If I'm left alone for a weekend, if my wife has something to go do, she's out on vacation or something, and if I don't have plans, which I will make plans so I don't go crazy, but if I was in my house for even 3 days alone, like when I had COVID and Jenna was going to work and I was just alone the whole time, I was losing my mind, dude. I was trying to do something to keep my mind occupied, but I could only do it for so long. And then I'm like, there's nobody to talk to.
Yeah, the quarantine is worse than the sickness. It's so I could only imagine what a friggin' prison cell would be.
So if you were, in a prison cell, so you're not even comfy, but for years, like not even days or weeks, like years, you're not talking to anybody. I would lose my mind within a week. So the punishments, you want to get into the punishments a little bit because this stuff is pretty crazy. He barely went, dude. He was only given ad libs. So the first punishment was called a water bath, which
sounds normal to me.
You are dunked in water and chained to a wall.
Oh.
They'd usually save this for the winter time, so the water would immediately freeze and you would just stay up there for hours, probably get hypothermia, probably get frostbite, and yeah, if you didn't die, you'd just go back to your cell with all those ailments.
Great.
So that was a water bath. Next is called the Mad Chair. Crazy name, good band name. But this was when you'd be tied tightly to a chair for hours or even days. Most prisoners would not be able to walk or use their arms for a while afterwards, and some even needed amputations when their circulation wouldn't come back. So it wasn't like they were just like, like your typical, shackle or something where you got some room to breathe. They tied you as tight as they could to these chairs, and you would just sit there for sometimes days being like, I'm never going to be the same. Like, I can't feel anything.
Wasn't the whole point of this prison
yeah.
to not torture people?
Yes, dude, and it was built off of like penitence and like the eye of God and everything, and then they go and torture people. Like it all was a giant contradiction.
Yeah, they also gave cocaine to people to get rid of the ghosts in their blood back then, okay? Like,
yeah, dude.
They didn't really know what was going on.
Right, but they're doing this to escape, to move away from corporal punishment, but they just did it anyways. They would do corporal punishment after solitary confinement and just make it 10 times worse.
We might have to do some adjusting because, they still suck. So we're gonna have to just let's just beat them up,
slap them around a little bit. You know what? Being alone isn't enough.
Yeah,
I'm gonna chain you to a wall and cover you with water in the winter.
You mean solitary confinement is not working?
Yeah.
What?
All right, I guess it's back to beating them up.
Quincy. Well, we know what always works.
What do you mean it's not working, Quincy? All right, beat them up.
Could you imagine being like, oh man, I'd really take some punishment right now, and they're like, okay, come on out. And they're like, what's this chair?
Yeah, the last punishment is called the hole, which is exactly what you expect it to be.
So just more solitary confinement?
Yeah, so underground space, it was worse solitary confinement.
They dug a big hole and they were like, we're going to move you from your metal cell to a big hole.
Were there any windows in their actual cells?
Yeah, they had
there was
skylight.
like the skylight.
Okay, so
just a little light coming in.
The hole was just black.
Yeah, and then at night it was just pitch black.
Nice.
But the hole was an underground space with no light, so you didn't. If you were there all day, you had literally darkness. Like you couldn't see. But there was no light, toilet, and very little food. So there was no toilet down there. Imagine them putting you down there for a week, and you can't see anything if you poop somewhere, and then you go to take a nap. What if you put your head in your own dookie, dude?
Just constantly.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, they're not feeding them a lot.
That's crazy. You'd come out completely psychotic from that. But those were like the craziest punishments I saw. But all this being said, it's hard to believe that all of this was done to lessen the miseries and help reform, especially knowing that we know everything we know today. Like solitary confinement.
What were the other prisons like?
Just danger. At every turn. So I don't know if you had like a better chance of living here, like actually surviving the prison because you weren't surrounded by all the psychopaths who could pull out their shanks and really get you.
Well, I know that like correctional officers, they need therapy for the things that they see in prison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this is at a time where correctional officers were just like, yeah, you stay there for your 12-hour shift and then, come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they probably are making rules and they're psychotic too.
Yeah.
So it's like the insane leading the insane.
Yeah, yeah. But we let all the prisoners chill with each other now, Mm-hmm. And if you're really bad, you get put into solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Like it's such a bad punishment, and they thought this was going to help people,
This is probably why it's a super bad punishment.
Big time,
and they're like, oh yeah, remember Eastern State? That place is crazy.
Yeah. So
you ever see like Norway's prison?
Yeah, it's a
beautiful
5-star hotel.
Yeah, dude.
it's like you want to go to prison.
Yeah, dude, exactly. So you lived in terrible conditions here unless you were Al Capone. Al Capone's cell was sick. He had a bunch of like antique furniture in there. He had an actual really cool bed, books, as lavish as it could be for the time. Because what are you going to tell Al Capone? What? Like, seriously, you're gonna tell him to be quiet?
True.
You want me to be quiet, kid?
He's like, I'll literally.
Have you ever died before?
He's like, I'll kill you, and I won't even touch you.
Yes, exactly. I'm just gonna
I
stay
don't
in
even
here.
have
It
to
will
do it.
be
I've
done.
got people to do it. All I have to do is
Your
send this
buddy
carrier
over there,
pigeon.
you think he's your friend. He's actually working for me.
Like, oh, you want a rug and a bed and some books? Yeah, sure, dude. Okay, you're.
Wait, Jimmy, you
He's
work
like,
for
and
Al
what's
Capone?
my name? Mr. Capone. Exactly.
Yeah, say my name.
Oh, Mr. Capone, welcome.
Oh,
Welcome
Mr.
to...
Capone, would you like a latte?
Good morning, Mr. Capone. How was solitary? Do you need your skylight opened, sir?
Yeah, he was treated like a king in there, dude. But I was able to tour this place, and it was really cool going through, like I was able to see it in person, look in these cells and being like, wow, that is that's terrible. I'd hate to be here, But then you can look through like a little hole to see Al Capone's room, which is definitely like a replica now, but it's almost exactly what it used to
Wait,
be.
you can't walk in the cell?
You can't walk into a cell. You have to like look into it.
Why?
I think it's just historic. I have no idea.
So maybe
Like,
the stuff in there is actually
it could be. It could be.
pristine.
So yeah, all that being said, this place is known to be haunted. I don't want to dwell on this too long. We do have a couple incidents. There was a locksmith incident in the 1980s. So while restoring cell block 4, a locksmith drilled into a 140-year-old lock and claimed an overwhelming force rushed through him. Witnesses said he turned pale and swore he saw faces in the stone walls. He probably just went crazy too. Let's be real, Well, this is after the fact, actually. This was during restoration. He said basically it felt like something grabbed his hand and he couldn't move, and then he started seeing, like, so he was just like in like the I think you should leave skit where he's like just seeing things in front of him, and then he got let go and he's like, I gotta tell everybody about this. It's just your stupid
He got possessed
typical
by the Disney thing.
yeah, dude. But
Shout
yeah,
out to
just
last
your
episode.
stereotypical ghost story. I didn't really, there's also phantom footsteps and tools disappearing and reappearing in strange places and shadow figures of inmates, and like ghost stories are hard to cover because they're all the same. So I don't really want
Something
to dwell
spooky
on
happened,
it.
so
But
chalk it up to ghosts.
If there was a place where there's gonna be.
probably here.
But that's going to do it for the Eastern State Penitentiary. Very cool place. You can go and do tours. There's actually a lot of cool museums around Philly that we went to, but you can walk through these cell blocks, see it firsthand, go through the exercise yard, see where they played baseball, see where they tried to throw ladders over these 30-foot stone walls to escape and everything. There's a pretty cool history
I'm not gonna
behind
lie,
it.
that's gonna be my move. If I were in there,
Yeah.
I would be like just constantly. I have so many hours a day. It's probably not gonna make me that crazy. Just etching something.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
gets your mind going. You're just like, I'm gonna try to escape.
Yeah, Slick Willie, they dug a hole, and like him and a bunch of other inmates tried escaping through it. It was like a 97-foot hole, so he got creative with it. And it wasn't at the Eastern State Penitentiary, but like over the course of months, he sculpted a head to like, like how in like in movies, like if they're trying to escape, they put a head under their blanket to make it look like they're still there, so the guards don't like suspect anything.
It's just a head. There's no body.
It was just, well, he probably put pillows underneath, for the body, but it actually kind of looked like him. Like I was actually impressed that he made this thing, but he got really creative with all of like his escapes because he tried to do it so many times, and like I said, he did get away for a period of time. 716-929-5066. Hit us up. So we
If you're building a prison and
yeah.
you need parts for your heavy equipment, because I don't think people are doing that by hand anymore,
Nope.
give Kind of Quick Parts a call, 716-836-5069. Or shop online, kindofquick.com/shop.
Yeah, so as always, we're going to end every episode with a forklift story and our ins and outs. So this forklift story, it stems off of a video where a dude, he forgot to put his forks down, and he was in Home Depot. Home Depot employee smoked like a water line. For some
Nice.
reason, it was a water line, and it was all like still water. It had to smell so bad. But this video, the water was just spraying and flooding all the aisles of Home Depot, and it was just kind of like, okay, this dude got fired. But this was a comment in response to that. This person said, "This happened in my store, but in the back. They told the dude he had to go get drug tested immediately. He said goodbye to everyone working and quit on the spot." LMAO.
Guilty.
He got asked to do a drug test, and he's like,
No.
"All right, see ya." Out. Workplace injuries.
Nice.
Okay.
We don't want that.
Yeah, for real.
Out workplace injuries. In workplace pizza parties instead of a pay raise or a bonus for the 10th year in a row.
That seems a little personal.
No, kind of quick treats us well. But I just figured
Corporate
that's something
goblin.
everybody can relate to. Can you imagine being like that guy and just being so excited for the pizza party? Like, you accept that you'll never get paid more, but you're like, I love pizza. I get it once a year. And it's just
Pizza party!
It's just a delicacy to him because he can't afford it because he's still making $2 an hour.
Everyone's like, shut up, Joey. We hate this. He's like, I love it.
I love this company.
I don't have to eat
Christmas pizza party.
This is company culture.
Everybody gets 1 slice and 2 wings.
No drink tokens. It's water. Out eating 3 square meals a day.
Okay.
In eating 1 meal, including everything, including the packaging, like a goat, to fill yourself up
for the whole day.
for the whole day.
Is
One
the
of all
idea-
the 3 meals combined, or is it just the one
It's
meal
one
that
meal,
you
but
would
you
have
have to eat everything, including the packaging, to keep
Okay.
yourself full, like a goat.
Okay. All right.
1 meal.
Okay, so are we assuming that the cardboard makes you sick and you just don't want to eat for the
Is
rest
this
of the
all
day?
edible
fills you up.
stuff?
It
Can we
fills you-
all eat
Yeah,
this?
it fills you up for the whole day, though? Interesting.
Is this going to hurt my tummy?
I
Probably.
don't know if you're a wimp.
If you're a little sissy baby girl, maybe, Seth.
I got to think about that one. Out brushes and combs. In everyone being issued a cat strictly for the purpose of them licking your head to style your hair.
Wow.
Ooh.
There's a
So
thing
instead
for
of a
that
cow
already.
lick, it's a cat lick.
Yeah.
I thought a cow licked them when they were young.
A cowlick is a section of the hair that grows in a different direction than the surrounding hair.
Do you think bald people have cowlicks?
So you just see their skin, it's just like...
Oh,
Oh, that's disgusting.
that's terrible.
Just slicked over, like super
Oh.
tight here, but wrinkly on the side.
It comes with the side effect, too.
Oh, cowlick wrinkles.
Oh no, dude, you poor guys.
You ever see those bald
cowlick.
people with like the neck
Yeah,
rolls?
they
Like,
go the other way.
Dude, I saw one of the most absurd ones the other week at volleyball. I was in the bathroom and this dude walks in and it was like a tire on the back of his head, bro. It was the most insane neck pudge I've ever seen.
Do you think he kept stuff in there?
He could
got
have.
like a
He could
spare
have kept a
baseball
lot
cap
of
or
change
something?
in there,
Oh,
dude.
cool.
There's someone I know that has like a middle of the head neck roll.
Oh no.
Or head roll, really.
Yeah,
it's
dude.
just like everything's normal, and then it's like scrunch.
It's so
What?
bad. Have you ever seen the ones where it's like it's all red? Like this dude had this too, where it was like it looked like a tire on the back of his neck, but he also had the wrinkles in his head, so it looked like his
Nice.
brain was visible.
sick.
And you're like, what the heck is
Just to
going
get
on?
in there with a razor, you have to...
Year-round Halloween costume, dude.
Yeah, you're folding back things and
His barber hates him.
yeah, dude. It would actually be kind of funny if you shaved everything besides what grows in the crevice.
Ugh.
It just starts sliding out.
Dude,
got-
the worst
he's got the
comb over
Anakin.
possible.
Yeah, dude, he's got
The
one.
worst comb over possible.
Yeah.
It's only
It's
the
growing
neck
back
roll
here,
hair,
but he's pushing it forward.
Barber's like, everyone else is a $30 fixed rate. You are $160, and
I
that
don't
could
want
change.
you to come back. I don't want you to
It's
come
subject
back.
to change. Too.
Depending on how much you piss me off that week.
Barbers turn you away like a tattoo artist would. They're just like, no,
I don't want that.
Yeah, not my style.
All right, that's going to be it for Downtime. Thank
Yeah.
you for spending your downtime with Downtime. If you ever have downtime again, maybe go back and watch a couple more Downtime episodes with
Yeah.
Downtime,
And-
hosted by yours truly and Luke and Seth.
And downtime.
Downtime.
Dude,
Welcome to downtime.
Oh,
But
we're doing it
also,
again.
goodbye from downtime. Peace out.